Kim Kardashian, the multimillionaire media mogul who runs her own beauty empire, is worshipped across the world as the sex goddess that she is. She rose to fame after her sex tape got leaked. As weird as that sounds, that incident paved her way to fame and wealth. She became the biggest reality star of all times, and since then, the world has been keeping up with the Kardashians, Kim being in the center of the Kardashian empire. She is not the 24-year-old sex tape superstar anymore. The reality show is on its 18th season now. It was an epic journey. A lot has changed since its first season. Kim has changed, her priorities have changed. She is the mom of 4 kids, wife of Kanye West, business tycoon running her empire, studying law and completing her internship, fighting against injustices, and now an activist to bring about the long-awaited criminal justice reform in the US legal system. It was a journey full of dramatic twists and turns. She learned a lot through her journey, but it was one night in particular she claims that changed her life. After that night, she didn't care about material stuff. She wanted to hold on to what was real in her life, her babies, and her family. October 3, 2016, the day that changed Kim Kardashian's life forever. It was a perfect day until it was not. The night barged in, and within 10 minutes it all came crashing down. Life changed for the queen of the Kardashian empire. It was a night of Paris Fashion Week. Glitz and glamour wrapped the day like a skin-tight Hervé Leger. Paris Fashion Week sets the bar for world fashion, and knowing the Kardashians, they were not going to miss something like this for nothing. It's all about dressing up and trying out outfits and makeup that are iconic. Designers are all excited to dress the Kardashians in the up-and-coming trends of Paris high fashion. It was Kourtney's first time attending Paris Fashion Week, and it was her first time seeing Kendall walking the ramp like the supermodel she is. Kourtney has never seen Kendall walk the ramp before. It was gonna be epic. It was the night of October 2, 2016. After the wrap of the vibrant Givenchy runway show, the 3 sisters were catching up. Kendall invited them for dinner. Kim took a rain check and Kourtney planned to meet with Kendall later that night for dinner. Kim just wanted to sleep it off. Her securities were with Kourtney, and that's when it happened. Kanye West, Kim's husband, was in a concert in New York, and halfway through the show, he heard the news. Kim was in her room alone. Kourtney had gone to a dinner party with Kendall with all the security. Kim probably didn't realize the vulnerability of her situation. It was 2:30 in the morning, October 3rd, when 5 armed goons barged inside the mansion where the Kardashians were staying in. What occurred after that could easily be plotted as a Hollywood horror show, but it was far from a show. It wasn't even a reality show. It was real as it could get. She heard footsteps outside her door. She thought it was her sister with her friend. She was debating going out to check for herself. Just then, the door stormed open from outside. She saw 3 men. One of them was supposedly the hotel concierge. The 2 men were dressed in police uniforms, but their faces were masked. They were holding the concierge hostage who had the key to Kim's room. They forced him to take them to the West room where the rapper's wife was staying. He opened the room from outside and let them in. That's right, that's what they called her, the rapper's wife. They barged in and demanded the ring. This was the same ring that Kanye got her and Kim flaunted in her show, supposedly that had brought on this harrowing experience. They knew Kim had all her jewelry on her. It was the Paris Fashion Week, and of course, she was gonna bring her best jewels. But little did she know she would have to face death for that. Yes, death. These men that barged in with the concierge had guns on them. They held Kim at gunpoint and demanded the ring, the jewelry, and money. They went back to the room where the concierge was sitting on a desk. Kim asked him, "What's happening? Are they gonna die?" They couldn't understand Kim, so she requested the concierge to translate. The robbers then duct-taped Kim's mouth so that she couldn't scream for help, and then grabbed her legs and pulled her towards him on the front of the bed. She was wearing a bathrobe and nothing underneath. She thought she was gonna die. She said her prayers. She saw the faces of her kids, and she thought she would never see them again. Kim pleaded for her life. That was her last thought. She saw death in the eyes at that very moment. Her life changed. She accepted death. It was her last thought before the goons picked her up and put her in her bathroom, and they ran. Everyone was shocked. It was like a blow from nowhere. No one anticipated this. It was traumatizing for the entire Kardashian-Jenner family, and they knew things had to change now on. Kim's mother, Kris, got the call, and she just wanted to run to her daughter. Kim still had to process everything that had gone down that night. She knew that her life was spared, and all she could think of were her babies. She thought she would never get to meet them again. Kim had hardly processed the shock that she was in. She was begging for her life the night before, and that kind of trauma can do serious damage. Kris wanted her to get help processing it. The day of the robbery in Paris was also the anniversary of Kim's father, Robert Kardashian's funeral. She had a great relationship with her father. Robert was a celebrated criminal lawyer who fought many high-profile cases, including the O.J. Simpson's case. Kim never knew that her life could lead her to follow her father's footsteps, but it did. As if Robert was trying to communicate something to Kim that day of the robbery. What that was, she didn't know. But her life took a step back that day. She said the robbery changed her life. She had to enter the system. She made statements to the judge, but what she didn't know before and understood only later on, as she went with the judicial procedure, was that the legal system is flawed to the core. The criminal laws are absolutely inadequate, and there is hardly any scope of justice being delivered, especially for the people of color. She didn't sit tight with it. She decided to fight back with her justice project. Kim later said in her interview with The Cut, "I truly think once I got robbed, it took something out of me in the best way. This was the first thing where I thought, you know what? I want to go to law school. I want to help people. Let me work for the next 10 years and build up my brands, and then one day, in 10 years, just give up being Kim K and become a lawyer. And now I've come to a realization about what I care about. No publicist would have ever told me to get into prison reform." She has now started her own apprenticeship and is preparing to appear for the California Bar Council exam. She is regularly meeting with convicts and fighting for their freedom. For Alice Marie Johnson, she even went to meet the president in the historic Oval Office. And at the end, Alice Marie Johnson was granted clemency and freed after serving 21 years behind bars. She was released from Federal Correctional Institution, Aliceville, with the effort of Kim Kardashian and the legal team of Alice Marie Johnson.